What's up everybody, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. Today it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to an old and very dear friend of mine. Let me tell you what I mean. Alright, welcome back everybody, welcome back to the Chug Nerd YouTube channel. My name is DJ, I'm a guitarist from the southwest of the UK. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years or so now. I play in a band, we're a band called HollowKin, modern metal, groove metal, lots of riffs, lots of screaming, a little bit of singing, that kind of vibe. If you feel like checking us out, we'd always appreciate the support. We got new singles dropping within the next 2 weeks. I'll leave links to everything down below so you can check us out on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you want to check us out. Always appreciated. Anyway, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to an old friend of mine, my one and only, drumroll please, Epiphone Les Paul Jared James Nichols heavily modified Gold Glory guitar. So this guitar I bought somewhat on a whim about 5 or so years ago when I saw a video by Xander Raymond Charles. His name comes up a lot on this channel. It's a big inspiration of mine, and he had a Gold Glory on his channel, and I watched the video and I was like, that is a sick looking and sick sounding guitar. And literally within about 10 minutes of watching that video, I went online and I ordered this from brand new for myself, and I just couldn't wait to get it. I was so stoked to get it, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. Playability was amazing. It looked absolutely fantastic. The only one caveat is I wasn't massively getting on with the Seymour Duncan dog ear P90 that was in here. The only pickup that is in this guitar. Now I'm going to do a full rundown and breakdown of this guitar in another video coming very soon. A little bit of a review if you will. But I just wanted to get a video up just to introduce you to this beautiful guitar and tell you a little bit about the story of it and why it's so special to me. So this guitar, like I said, I bought it about 5 years ago, and when I was looking at what kind of options were available to change out that P90, I wasn't really finding much that was available. Because it was a P90, it was routed for a P90 and not for a humbucker or anything like that. So I reached out to my buddy Mark, who runs an amazing Lutherie business called Wilkes Guitar Repairs. Massive shout out to Mark as always. He always helps me out with all my weird and crazy guitar modifications that I want to do. And I messaged him and I was like, what sort of thing can I be putting in this guitar? And he said the only kind of option for what I wanted it to do that was going to really work is the Damasio Super Distortion in the P90 form factor, and it's not a dog ear P90, it is a soap bar P90. So we would have to have had 3D printed this mount for it to go on, which as you can see we did. So I sat thinking about it for a little while and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get the P90 out and let's get something in that I'm really going to enjoy. And as kind of the next few days went on, I was starting to play the guitar a bit more, and I started thinking, do you know what we could do? We could take this absolutely wicked guitar, this Jared James Nichols Gold Glory that's absolutely built for blues music, and turn it into a metal machine. Black everything out, upgrade everything to be the best that it can possibly be, and see what we can kind of come up with. And we did. So we changed pretty much everything on it. The only things that are still original on it are the tone pot and the body and neck, obviously, because it's part of the body. So we've got the Damasio Super Distortion in the bridge, one pickup guitar. We've got this 3D printed custom dog ear mount, which the Damasio sits on. We've got this Wilkinson wraparound trem, which is way better than the one that comes with it, but I'll go into that in the video that I do breaking down the whole guitar. We put in new electronics. We put in a push-pull on the volume switch, the volume button over here. We put on a Goto. Yeah, we put on Goto locking tuners in black in the top here, and we put on a black Graphtec nut as well, and also upgraded the strap buttons to black shallow strap buttons as well. So pretty much everything that we could upgrade and change to black, we did, and I absolutely adore it. I love it so much. And in fact, for a few years, a couple of years, it wasn't like my main guitar, but it was the guitar, I called it my sofa guitar. It was just the guitar that lived on my sofa in my house. And every time I would go to sit down anywhere, I would just naturally, I don't know if you've got a sofa guitar, but I would just pick it up and just have a bit of a noodle and just kind of have it on my lap. Alas, it was not to last. When I joined my first kind of band after a long hiatus of not being in bands, I needed to upgrade quite a lot of my equipment. I needed a big amplifier, I needed a 4x12 guitar cab, I needed a bunch of pedals, a pedal board, a power supply, and other bits and pieces that I was going to need to play in a band, perform live, and hit the recording studio. And in order to do all of those things, I needed money, and a fair amount of money, because my Kraken was $1,000, my 4x12 was $1,000, my pedal board probably cost close to $1,000. So I had this little spate of selling loads of guitars, most of which I don't regret, most of which I don't miss, but there were two of them that I sold. This one and my Viper VB400 that I had, my LTD Viper that I absolutely loved. And it was a needs must kind of situation. I had to make the money up somehow. I didn't have the money to kind of get all the bits that I wanted and needed for the band. So I sold them, regrettably. And as soon as this one, and the Viper, but as soon as this one left my house, I was so sad. I was like, oh, I wish I hadn't had to sell that. I really wish I hadn't had to get rid of it. And bless him, the guy who bought this off me, a guy called David from Bristol, who is a buddy of mine through Instagram. I'm sure we've all got Instagram friends. He's a buddy of mine on Instagram, very, very supportive and encouraging of kind of the band, my Instagram channel, and now my YouTube channel. He's a lovely, lovely guy. I reached out to him only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, would you ever consider selling me back Gold Glory, because I feel like I need her back in my life. I've not had her since 2023, I think I sold it to him, and so he's had it for a couple of years, and he's actually even in that time had this signed by Jared James Nichols when he visited the Bristol PMT store when it was still open, and that is what is under this Foxhound sticker down here, because I wanted to honour the time that David had this guitar, the fact that he'd taken it down to have signed and approved by Jared James Nichols. So I didn't want to scrub it off, but I equally didn't want to wreck it by playing live with it and it kind of getting ruined. So I decided to lean, as you can see, we've got the Metal Gear Solid on behind me. I wanted to turn this guitar into an homage to another part of my life. My Solo's got my Mighty Ducks sticker on it because I'm a massive ice hockey fan, and this one I wanted to kind of represent the Metal Gear Solid side of my life, so I wanted to get a Foxhound sticker on here, and I thought the fox would go really nicely with the gold on the guitar, and I think it looks super sick, and it protects that autograph underneath the sticker, so if I ever want to take it off, I can just get a hairdryer on it, peel it off, and there will be an intact Jared James Nichols signature on the front of the guitar. Anyway, I didn't want to do a full deep dive into the specs and everything of this guitar and kind of all that it's about. This was just a kind of introductory video just to say, hey, this is back in my life and I'm excited to share it with you. So keep your eye out for a video coming very, very soon where we'll be checking out this guitar in full. I am going to throw some samples of some sounds at the end of this video as well. So if you want to hear how she sounds, then stick around until the very end. Otherwise, I will catch up with you in another video very, very soon, and we will be definitely checking out this guitar way more in the future. Thanks very much for joining me, everybody. Oh, like and subscribe and drop a comment down below as well if you feel so inclined to. That would be super sick and massively goes a long way in supporting the channel, in fighting the YouTube algorithm. Thanks again, everyone. I'll catch you in a bit.